We also added seasoned potato skins filled with queso cheese and bacon. Wow, they're tasty. So come on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
All right, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Beautiful looking Thursday. 45 degrees, a little bit cool. Things are expected to warm up, though. And then by Saturday, cooling down a little bit because on Saturday is, what do you call it, Light Up Ocala.
Yes.
Light Up Ocala is always a fun event, and typically we go down there with the radio station and bring our cameras and try to get lots and lots of pictures, right? But we are not really professional photographers.
No.
And the pictures we get are so joyful and happy.
I love
right?
the
People
pictures.
having a great time. Our next guest is a photographer. He's an amazing photographer, and the pictures he takes I don't want to seem, like I'm overstating something, but I think this is true, can change the world. Because the pictures he takes show humanity. That's the best way to say it, at its best and at its worst. And when we see those pictures, they can influence us one way or another, either to say, oh my gosh, we got to make sure this never happens again, or, oh my gosh, I've got to be as good as that. That is something to aspire to be. And he somehow can be at the right place at the right time and click that thing and know how to aim it, and he's got an eye for all of this. That's why he's an award-winning photographer. Tom Stoddart is a contributor to the Sunday Times, the Time magazine. He's witnessed such international events as the fall of the Berlin Wall, the election of President Nelson Mandela, the bloody siege of Sarajevo, and the wars against Saddam Hussein in Iraq. He has, I think he's at one of the museums in Washington, D.C. He's going to talk about the Annenberg Space for Photography's Refugee exhibit. Good morning, Tom Stoddart. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Larry. Thank you for that fantastic introduction. You should be my agent, but thank you very much indeed.
Oh, you're welcome. Where are you right now? You're in a museum. What museum are you in?
I'm sitting in the Newseum on Pennsylvania Avenue. Came in from the UK last night, and it's my first time visiting the Newseum, so I'm having a great time going around and looking at what's going on here, and especially the refugee exhibit that is opening tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself a journalist with photography as your tool?
Yes, I mean, I'm a photojournalist. I tell stories with pictures, and hopefully, a photojournalist's job is to go places where people don't normally get the chance to go, to tell the truth, document what's in front of you truthfully, and bring the images back and put them in front of people to try and let them know what's going on, and also educate both politicians and young people, which is that's our job in a nutshell, really.
Yeah.
And there are two sides to refugees these days. Some refugees are not very nice to the people of the country that they have had to be evacuated to, while others, the majority of them, respect the other countries they're in. And those are two different types of personalities that you have to depict.
I guess that's what human beings are, there's good and bad in all of us. For me, when you're standing on a beach in Lesbos and you see these small boats coming towards you, and people are bobbing up and down and children are crying, you realize that, what must it take for a father to put his wife and children and elderly people in the family on a boat, and with the chance of them drowning, you have to be desperate to get away from places like Aleppo and Mosul in Syria, and get to Western Europe, where hopefully get a better life for you and your family.
Oh my gosh! And it is really the only way that we, as human beings, can know that we need to do something. I think I heard a story one time about the photography that captured the images from the Holocaust after the war was over, after World War II was over, and had we not had those photographs, we would never have really, really known, the rest of us, we never would have really known what horrible things took place.
Well, Larry, you're absolutely right. I mean, the camera, you're not shooting for the next day or the next hour. You're shooting for the next 25 or 30 years when you're in these situations. No one can ever say that the Holocaust didn't take place because of the stills that exist. But, I mean, this is now, today, there are 65 million people who are around the world and who are displaced. 340,000 refugees arrived in Europe by sea this year, and 4,000 of those died. So this is happening right now. I mean, your listeners will remember the terrible picture of the little Syrian boy,
yes,
Alan Kurdi, who was sadly drowned. And the still image like that is a very powerful tool. So hopefully, when something like that happens, we can focus the minds of the politicians on those that can change things.
Do you know, I went to New York a little over a month ago with my son, and we went down to the 9/11 memorial, and I didn't want to take any pictures of that. I saw people posing and taking pictures, and it almost looked like a theme park. Where people were taking selfies, etc. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to take that. I don't want to take that image. There's plenty of images out there of that, and I don't want it to be one of mine. And I'm not saying you're wrong for taking any, but I'm not saying anybody's wrong for doing it. It just didn't seem. And if I was on that beach with that little boy, dead in the water, I don't think I would have aimed my camera at him. But the fact that somebody did, as I mentioned in the intro, it literally changed the world. We a little bit. Somebody somewhere said, oh my gosh, we got to do something about this. And I don't think I would have had whatever you have that makes you realize, yes, that's an important photograph.
Well, you can't. I agree totally with you. I mean, there are countless examples of still images that have impacted on people. I mean, the difference between a still and a piece of video is that a still embeds itself in your mind. So when you see that picture of the little boy on the beach, I mean, sadly, there have been many other children have died in the same way. But that particular picture, the way he was dressed and the way he was being carried, struck a nerve with people around the world.
Right.
I mean, the photographer they were doing their job, and that's what you have to do as a photojournalist. You can't pick and choose, where you end up in these situations. You just have to do your job as well as possible and to be truthful.
Are the images all in color or black and white, or are they dispersed differently?
In this particular exhibition, which is a great exhibition, there's a mixture of color and portraiture. My own work in this exhibition is in black and white, which is my kind of trademark. It's what I like to work in. If in my own kind of sphere, I like to work in black and white. I mean, there was a photographer called Ted Grant, a Canadian, who said if you photograph in color, you see the color of their clothes, and if you photograph in black and white, you see the color of their soul. And that's what I like to do. But the other pictures in the exhibition are amazing. There's pictures from all over the world, and the four other photographers who contribute to this did some great stuff.
I have a question about, just as you mentioned, the little boy was that little boy, but he also represented hundreds, thousands of children. And in the same way, I'm going to ask a question, and I wonder if you can expand it to other photo opportunities you've had. I hate to call them photo opportunities. Photo assignments is better. Okay, so you went to the Berlin Wall. Were you on the side of the west or the side of the east? And whatever side you were on, do you think it would have been just as interesting or more interesting on the other side?
Well, Larry, there's a thing in my business about it's better to be lucky than good, and I was actually arrived at Checkpoint Charlie on November the 9th, 1989, just as the very first people were allowed to come through. So I photographed the first people leaving from the east to come to the west, and just a couple of years ago, I went back and found those about 8 of the people and asked them about their stories, and it was amazing what that night meant to them. I mean, that's the other reason I'm thrilled to be at the Newseum, because they have one of the largest collection of parts of the wall outside Germany. So as soon as we finish, I'm going to go down there and have a look and remind myself about what went on that night.
How long is that exhibit going to be there? I'd love to see it. How long is it going to be there?
I really recommend it. It's a great exhibit. It's on till March 12th.
Oh, great!
Nice.
If your listeners want more info, they can go to the Newseum's website at newseum.org, and I can really recommend it. Newseum,
if you didn't understand what Tom was saying right there. Thank you, Tom, for being on the air with us. I love what you and your colleagues are able to do for the rest of us, because a lot of times it affects things that we do, and hopefully you are the catalyst so that we, perhaps as a collective, we can make the world a better place. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. It's time to get that new look started. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon, 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. And whether you're going on a job interview or out on a date, your hands do a lot of talking. Manicures are a must. Hello Gorgeous is a full-service salon, so let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too.
Hello, gorgeous.
FlySanford.com, Orlando Sanford International Airport. We are SFB. Simpler, faster, better.
Visiting friends and family, or just looking for some fun? Book your vacation now to one of their non-stop destinations, including Amsterdam, Brussels, Mexico City, San Juan, as well as over 70 domestic destinations, including New Orleans.
For enjoyable travel, come to Orlando Sanford International Airport. We are SFB. Simpler, faster, better. Before you fly, FlySanford.com.
We all know the importance of good health, but we may not know the latest advances in medicine that are available to us. Monday at 9 a.m., Bern Paraiso will be our roving medical reporter to tell us about Seven Hill Gastroenterology PA and Dr. Reddy. We'll discuss screening, techniques, and more. So tune in and listen. This is more than news you can use. It's news that could